Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, divorce support for dads, where we help dads create a healthy and less traumatic divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I'm your host. I created this podcast in the Divorced Advocate community as a result of my own high conflict divorce, and because you as a dad deserve all the resources necessary to thrive through this challenging time. I encourage you to check out our website at thedivorcedadvocate.com, where there are resources that correspond to this episode, as well as free access to our membership community, where you will find live meetings, free workshops and courses, private discussion groups, and more. And now on to this week's episode. Hello, and thank you for being here today and listening. It is that time of the month, and that is a new episode of our sister podcast, Dads Dating After Divorce. Have an excellent conversation with Ralph about his new book titled Divorce Panic. It's a great book. I highly suggest picking it up. You can find it at his website at dadstartingover.com or check it out on Amazon. The last part of the book talks about, and what we talk about specifically in this episode is how not to F up your new relationship and things you can do to prepare yourself for that. So I hope that you enjoy this new episode of Dads Dating After Divorce. God bless and have an awesome week. We'll talk to you soon.
Your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now?
Hello, and welcome to Dads Dating After Divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, the founder of the Divorced Advocate, and my co-host is
Ralph, aka DSO from dadstartingover.com.
Hey, Ralph. So today we are going to be talking about, obviously, dating after divorce, but my friend here has a new book out. And so first, Ralph, tell us a little bit about that new book. And then I think we decided we're going to talk about how not to F up dating after divorce, right?
Yeah. Well, the book is called Divorce Panic, a guide for men starting over in life. And this book is actually a new edition of an existing book I had called Now What? And the book was called Now What? A Guide for Men Starting Over in Life After Infidelity, Breakup, and Divorce. So here, the problem with that title was a little wordy. And thing two was no one could remember it right. They would call it What Now? They would call it Now Who? Now What? Now Where? Some people just called it the Dad Starting Over book. And I was like, I don't know which one you're referring to. No one remembered the title. So I was like, okay, I went wrong on the title. And it's time to update the book anyway, because I wasn't super happy with the way it turned out, although relatively popular. So I decided to rebrand it, call it something else, put a bunch of new stuff in there, take out some stuff I didn't like, reorganize it, and now it's called Divorce Panic. And it's about 50% of it is brand new stuff. And it deals with the subject of what I hear a lot, which is I've been thrust into the world of divorce, and I am in a state of panic, as the title says, and I don't know what the hell to do next. I don't know where to go. I don't know how this happened to me, number one. What got me in this mess? How do I pick up the pieces? Do I date again? Do I dare get into another relationship? And if so, how do I avoid all this nonsense? And I tried to encapsulate that as much as I can. And it's available on PDF format directly from the website, or you can get it on Amazon, download the Kindle version or the print version, and the audio has been submitted to Audible and just waiting on them to do their thing and approve it.
That is awesome. So let's give the audience a little bit of background on you and I. So we've both been divorced. So how long were you married?
15 years.
15 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. And a divorce, infidelity, all that's, the difficulties and challenges going through it. And then how long were you single after your divorce?
Oh, well, I guess it depends on the single. I started dating less than a year after the divorce.
Okay. But I mean, how long before you got remarried? Because you've been successful.
Oh, it was
relationship
after the divorce. Yeah. After the divorce and everything, a good 5.5 years or so. and then I got
So-
remarried. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, and then you've been remarried for how long?
Man, you're putting me on the spot with these dates. I'm terrible with
Yeah,
dates.
well, hopefully she's not listening, man, because you can't even remember it.
Yeah. Well, we've been
So approximately.
we've been together as a couple for like 8 years or so now, 9 years or so now.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, and we dated or we got married. Man, how long has it been now? 4 or 5 years now? Yeah, again, terrible with dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's okay. We just wanted to give a general idea, just to give that timeline. And so for myself, I was married 11 years and then got divorced and have been divorced now 9.5 years, have been in the dating scene, but have not been successful at finding somebody else. And so I just say all that to just let the audience know we're kind of coming from this from like a couple different perspectives, right? Somebody that has really, and I feel like in reading most of your book, I feel that you have a much better mindset around this, and you talk about what to do, particularly when you talk about taking the time to work on yourself before starting to date again, and what that can provide you in going about this process again. And so let's take it from there. And I know that cuts off like a whole the beginning when you talk about the divorce panic, which I think maybe that really resonates probably with the majority of the guys, because the majority of guys are the ones that get served, right? 70 or 80%, something like that, are the ones that get served. And so no matter what the circumstances, that's always like a holy crap. So divorce, I think you're spot on with that name, right? Divorce panic, because that's got the first thing like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? And then you start thinking about all this crap that's going on. But we're going to cut past that first half of the book. But I just want to tell everybody, there's a lot of great information in that like first half or 3/4 of the book. But we're going to jump to the end where you start talking about the relationship game and talk about what to focus on yourself. But talk about the work that needs to be done prior to dating, so we don't F it up, and why that's important, and how it can really F things up if you don't.
I'm often asked, how do you know when you're ready to date again?
Yeah.
Which I think for a lot of men means I could find Mrs. Right again. How do I know I'm ready for that? There's a lot of, or some men say I'm okay with the idea of casually dating, which I think a lot of men are fooling themselves. A lot of men end up saying that, but they end up falling for some woman, et cetera. So the best way I can encapsulate how do you know you're ready is you have a life, a sense of self, a sense of self-worth and everything, to the point where it's almost as if life has to kind of campaign to convince you to allow somebody else into your world. That's a very cumbersome way of saying, for example, let's say you're a dude who's kind of needy. He's freshly out of a divorce. I'm lonely. And he puts himself out on 19 different dating apps and websites. And he goes to all the singles mixers, and he spends a great deal of his time researching and looking into how to land another woman. Maybe not the healthiest way in the world to look at it. Versus another guy is like, his friend comes up to him and said, I have a woman I want you to meet. And he's like, I don't know, man. I got a lot of good stuff going on. I'm busy. I got the work thing. I got this thing. I got this other hobby thing. I'm going out with my buddies next weekend. I'm not going to be able to, if I do meet this chick, I'm not going to be able to meet her probably for like a month and a half, because I'm so busy now with the kids and everything else. And it's going to take a lot for me to allow somebody else into my world, because I got a lot going on here. I love how things are going. So to introduce somebody else, it's almost as if to say, I kind of feel sorry for the woman, because she's got to jump through a lot of hoops if she wants to be my girlfriend. Yeah. And so do I even want to introduce that into my world now? I don't know. It's going to take a lot of convincing. It's like, now that's the right mindset. As far as I can tell, that's the right mindset. You don't need them. Right. And you see, what is it that they offer? Right. Why should I shoehorn them into my life? And you mentioned Dr. Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, as being a fantastic resource. And I
I agree wholeheartedly. It's something I recommend to all of my guys that are going through divorce, especially those that seem to identify as codependent, like myself. I was massively codependent, and that book was eye-opening for me. But he describes in the book, and I think you described in the book also, like baking your life cake, creating that cake, and then having somebody, a woman, come alongside as the icing on that cake. That's not demeaning the woman, that she's not important. It's just saying that it's complementary to the great life that you have created. And then somebody comes alongside and wants to join in on that or not.
Which is ironically the dynamic that most women would be comfortable with.
Right.
Like if I put myself out there in the dating world and said, you're going to be my anything and everything, and I will devote myself 100% to you, and my emotional health and everything rests on your shoulders, woman, they'd slowly back away. But okay, unless of course she's a real problem woman, then she'll probably jump all over you. Yes, exactly what I was looking for. But if you're a guy that's like, I got a lot going for me, you want to jump on this train and join me, woman? If not, cool. I get it, but I'm not going to stop the train for just anybody.
Right. So let's talk about that. And you talk about that in that last chapter about focusing on yourself. Yeah. So speak to that. And then there's another really good book I don't know if you've heard of, and I've mentioned it I think before on the show, is Sean T. Smith's The Tactical Guide to Women. And really the first chapter he talks about that, right? Learning where you came from, where you're going, what gets you out of bed, knowing who you are, focusing on yourself, what your values are, etc.
Yeah, focusing on you. How many men do we know that just completely neglect that? Mm-hmm. And that's everything. It's you. But we don't think about us as men. It's so easy to slip down that slippery slope of, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. Well, there goes like 95% of my time right there. What little time I have left, I guess I'll watch some football and call it a night. Yeah, right. That's it. And so when a lot of men are thrust into the world of singlehood again, the kids are with mom for the week. Well, all right, there goes the father thing. Although I shouldn't say that. It's not really necessarily fair, because a lot of men find out that they end up going to the soccer games and the football games and picking this kid up from this event anyway. But still, you get my point. They're not there 24/7 like they used to be. Right. And then as far as the husband's thing concerned, obviously that's gone. So now I'm a single dude. Now what? And which was ironically the title before. Now what? What the hell do I do? Now what? And a lot of men don't have the answer to that. I don't know. And I've been posting a lot we just talked about this before on the TikTok, and I see a lot of the comments on there. There are a lot of lost dudes out there that are just like, it's all gone. My wife just dumped me, left me for some other dude. I don't know what the hell to do now. I'm completely lost. I have no sense of self. Help. I don't know what to do. Right. That's a very sad place to be.
And the ironic thing is that we might not connect is that our wife or our soon-to-be ex or our ex was likely high probably attracted to all those things that you used to do that were self-care, the things that you were interested in, the taking care of your body. And I know for me, so I was a former Division I athlete, and I was playing in men's leagues when I met her, and I was, still kind of doing some of the stuff that I did before. But when I got married and we had kids, that kind of stuff kind of stopped. And guess what? Like, I got overly focused on the family, which is not a bad thing. You need to focus on your family, but I completely lost focus on myself. And guess what? Affairs happen. The attraction goes away. Sex stops. All that stuff. And you talk about it maybe in the beginning of the book is about that. But then we find that post-divorce, when we start doing that again, oh man, we kind of regain this attractiveness because we're men again.
Yeah, think about it. Technically, we're doing the mating dance, aren't we?
Yeah.
Those South American birds on the nature shows that do the little dance and fluff their feathers and build the nest, and they're saying, that's basically what we're doing when you're the Division I athlete, the independent man with the cool car and the this and the that, and your body's in shape. You're just like, well, what do you think, ladies? Whether you know it or not, that's what you're doing. Right. And when eventually we snag that mate, we go, phew, I can stop all this horseshit. No, you can't. And if you think about it, all that stuff's healthy. Mm-hmm. physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy. Why not keep it up? But it's really tough when you snag a mate to keep all that stuff up.
Right. And that's what builds and maintains attraction throughout it, being having a mission, right? Having a mission as a man, having some goal towards what you're working. That's our masculine nature. And we get at least, and I'm speaking, so, guys, I speak from all of my experience. Everything I'm saying is me making all of these mistakes. There's a reason Ralph did it and got remarried in 5.5 years, and I'm still dating after 9.5 years. Like, I've done like all of this wrong. Everything you described, like what we're not supposed to be doing, I did it. Like, and part of that, maintaining that attraction is continuing to do that in your relationship. So when you start out, and so maybe this is the next step, we start talking about what we do and kind of creating those values of what we want and what we believe in, and then how we do that, and then how we bring somebody alongside, and how we stay true to what it is that we developed.
Mm-hmm. The irony of all ironies is, not only do you need to maintain that sense of yourself and continue those mating games when you snag a mate and you're now monogamous, by my estimation, you kind of need to amplify them even further, because you are overcoming a lot of very natural tendencies to turn the knob down on the old interconnectedness meter, so to speak. So when you're at the very early stages of the relationship, the limerence phase, the falling in love phase, the puppy love, whatever you want to call it, oh boy, you are super attached. Mm-hmm. And then you get comfortable. And what we know for now, and there are books written on this, is that women, that sexy, interconnected, erotic, whatever you want to call it, knob gets turned way down as soon as they are comfortable and safe and secure in a relationship. That's not demeaning women. That's just part of their makeup. They need that little bit of insecurity and a little bit of, I'm not sure what's going on here, and newness to keep them going. Once that's gone, the knob goes, and then marriage, and then kids. So what's it take to crank the knob back up again? It takes some of that old dating stuff again, and then some. Right. When you first meet women, it's way easier to woo them than when you've known her for 10, 15, 20 years, and you got all that baggage between the two of you and everything else. So that's why I contend you better know what the hell you're doing and keep it up, and then bump it up a few notches.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jude with a quick reminder about the Divorced Advocate Foundation for Fathers, which is our nonprofit that helps dads through divorce with legal education, free or reduced cost coaching, and mental health resources. If you own a business or know someone who does, there's an easy way to help by connecting credit card processing through our partner program. Part of the fees go straight to the foundation with no added cost to the business, and 98% of businesses are actually able to save money on their processing fees. It's a win-win. So if you know a business that accepts credit cards, get them in touch with me by sending a warm introduction email to jude@thedivorcedadvocate.com, or give me a call directly at 720-255-1021. Well, and so also there's this challenge that we have now that maybe our fathers didn't, or generations before, is this whole social idea around dating after divorce, and women, this idea that women have in dating, and what we're faced with when they're coming to the table after divorce. And okay, so typically what we're going to find, and what my experience is, and I'm curious to hear yours, is we're going to find other women, or we're going to find women who are divorced also at our age or after divorce. So if you're past 30 and you're divorced, you're likely going to find somebody else that's also divorced. And there's this huge, I feel, and you mentioned in your book, this disconnect with women and what the dating world is like post-divorce.
Meaning their experience versus ours.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so let's talk about the differences in kind of the mindset that they come in with, and what we're experiencing, and why we might be, and you focus on this in one section of the book about why we're like, you talk about mentally healthy, non-needy men, right? Mm-hmm. And just casually dating or not casually dating, or just, not being focused on
it's funny how
is your goal.
As far as the barometer for how we men measure, back up. It's very often for men to hear men say, women have it so much easier in the post-divorce dating world. Well, why? And then you have women just wide-eyed go, oh, hell no, what are you talking about? It's like, well, we men measure what is the barometer for that success. We say, well, you can have physical relationships so much easier than we can. I have to put this mating dance on and do all this stuff. And it seems like women these days are only going for the upper echelon of dudes, and then will be physical with you and so forth. While you women just go, hey, I'm a lady, and that's about all you need. Right. Well, the women say, yeah, that may be the case, but that's not the defining point for me for success in this post-dating world. I'm looking for a good, all-around good dude who pushes all these different buttons and commits to me. That's when I know I'm a winner. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the ladies talking. F that. No, that's very difficult to find. So we're both in our own way saying it's difficult to go out there. So from our perspective as men, yeah, women have a lot easier to get their physical needs met. And there's also that whole, there's still culturally, if I ask a woman out on a date and she says, yes, it's kind of expected that I'm going to pay for things.
Right.
So they have it easier in that way too. They can go to a dinner and not have to worry about shelling out a couple $100 for the dinner, the dessert, and the wine and everything else. So in another way, that's another way us men say these women sure have it a hell of a lot easier than us. But we all have our own little perspectives on all of this, and it's not so easy for them. It's the old, I talk about the lover versus provider in the book, and the ideal man being the combination of the two. And oof, that's very tough to find for a lady. Very tough to find. I always worry when I say these things that this person's going to see this. Who knows? We may blow up one day and everyone sees all of this. Then all of this will get crazy. But
we'll get canceled and we'll have to start over. But that's okay.
I have a friend of my wife's who is very pretty young gal. I want to say young. She's got to be early 30s at the most. I don't know her age, but she's at the point where I need a dude. And she's dating, and she's, if you say, tell me about these dudes in your past, she will rattle off a bunch of lovers who never would amount to being a good partner in any other way other than having fun in the sack and going out on dates. He's not Mr. Husband material at all. And she's been through several of those, and she's getting frustrated. So finally she meets Mr. Provider Dude. Does he really tickle her in the lover way? How's sex? Do you have a lot of respect for the man and everything? Well, then why are you with him? He's a very sweet guy. He's a very nice guy. He's very committed to me. He adores me. He loves me to death. And I love him, but just not in that other kind of way. And if you say you're settling, it's not fair to him, it's not fair to you, she become irate, saying, I don't have much time. I need to settle down and make some babies here and start this next chapter of my life. I can't sit around waiting for Mr. Perfect. He doesn't exist.
Right. You brought up the word respect, and I saw that throughout your book, talking about respect or lack of respect. And I think that is a very key identifier in a relationship with regards to what you're just talking about right there, as to, can this be something that lasts a long time? If somebody is just settling, there are going to be, it's been my experience that there are going to be red flags of a lack of respect that come up in the relationship, maybe even in the honeymoon phase, right? Even at any point where you're going to be able to see that this person's mindset is not, their feelings for you are not where they should be in that proper balance of the lover provider that you need to be to really get them to be passionate and excited about you, but also feel safe. And you talked about that before, like that's it's a real challenge to make them feel safe, but also, tingle that little tingle that they, tickle that tingle that you want them to get, but also have them feel safe. So let's talk about the respect, because I feel for me, when I start to see that, and so now I can't tell you mentioned in the books about how you get to the point where, what it is that you want, kind of what your values are. You're open about that. I probably had hundreds of first dates, right? But I'm to the point now where if it's the first date, I can pretty much tell this is not somebody, hey, thanks for meeting. It was great to meet you. I wish you the best of luck. We're just not a match. Like, it's real easy to do that for me now, but you get into that. Let's talk about some of those signs of lack of respect or some other signs that you might have that somebody's not, is settling for you, and that you need to pay attention to that.
Ooh, that's tough though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
How do I
think
know?
it's a big one for guys to know, right? Because we get into these, and then again, I'm speaking from experience. I get into these relationships the second time, I'm thinking, oh, this is the one, but it's not, because they're looking for something that I wasn't paying attention to. And one of the signs that I've identified coming back and that I saw in your book is those red flags of lack of respect.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's what makes it extra hard. And this is where we get really cynical and negative about relationships. And that's not the intention. This is just reality. Right. And the reality is that my friend that I was talking about, if you were to ask her man now, does your woman have respect for you? He would probably say, well, I don't know. How do you define that? What are the signs of respect? To him, in his mind, he probably initially think, she's loving to me, we're physical together, we're emotionally connected, and all these other things. A roundabout way of saying all of our traits and signs of respect from our woman as a man come from very basic things such as, is she physical with me? Does she show me signs of affection? Mm-hmm. At the early stages of a relationship, that usually comes in spades from your partner. It's just showered upon you.
Right. The honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase, the limerence phase. So, but that is not real, so to speak. So a lot of men feel fooled, if you will. Now, the woman genuinely felt all of that. She's not putting on a show. This is not some bait and switch where she's just secretly going, oh, God, I can't stand this guy. I'll just pretend to like him. No, she's over the top. Gaga, hands all over him, touch, sex, all that other stuff is wonderful. Why I'm saying this gets cynical and negative is that what a lot of us discover is 5, 10, 15 years later, where'd all that lovey-dovey sex stuff go? Where did all that connection thing go? Well, that validation is the term. Mm-hmm. That showed me that she really liked me and respected me as a man, enough so to open herself up physically and emotionally to me. And that's just all gone. So the big question then is, okay, I'm caught in this limerence honeymoon phase. It's amazing. She feels amazing. I feel amazing. How do I know this is going to last to a healthy degree? It can't last 100%. They never do. Your relationship 5, 10 years from now will never be like what it was when you guys first met. But how can you know some of it will remain at a healthy level to get your needs met as a man? And the grand answer to that is you really don't know. Only time will tell you, which is why take your time with a woman. Don't rush into anything. I can't tell you how many men say, I met a woman, she's perfect. We've already blended our families. How long has it been? 3 months.
Right.
Dude, what are you doing? It should be 3 years. And some men hear that and go, no, I ain't gonna wait no 3 years. That's ridiculous. No. Right. Like, no, that's realistic, because you see your partner going through all those bad things in life. You see how they cope. You see how they deal with when the comfort and familiarity sets in. Then you see the quote, real her. And that's when you see, oh, this person actually kind of treats me like shit on a daily basis. This person doesn't touch me. They're not open sexually. They're not open emotionally to me in any way, shape, or form. So that's how we gauge respect. And you really don't see those trait respects until years down the line, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Need to go through the seasons to see what somebody's personality is like, how they're going to treat other people as well as you. But don't you feel it's incumbent upon us to have the enough respect for ourselves to demand that respect in a relationship starting in the beginning? Because what I found is when I didn't respect myself, and I didn't feel like I was worthy, or I didn't build that cake in my life. I didn't feel like I had what I needed to offer to this relationship, that then those small signs I just kind of let slip. And I'll use an example. I was dating a woman, and we were dating for a little while, and I showed up. We had planned to meet somewhere with some other people and friends, and I got there, and she didn't get up. She was on her phone. She looked at me and just finished, texting or whatever. She's on her phone. And I sat there for a minute, and I was like, what the hell? And I got up and I just left. And I'm like, if you're not going to acknowledge me when I walk into your room, I'm your boyfriend. You're not going to take, 15 seconds for us to connect, and say hi to me and not get off your phone. That's a lack of respect. And so I talk, and I say that to say that I feel that it's important, if we're leading the relationship and we're communicating effectively in a relationship and getting into that we have done what we talked about in the beginning. We've got our values. We know what we want. We're taking care of ourselves, and we have that respect for ourselves, that then leading in the relationship in creating and communicating your expectations around what it is going to be and how it's going to be, is being respectful. Another one that I find a lot in dating is that they're not present. You can tell they're not present with you. They got the phone, they got the phone there. They're checking their messages. Oh my, or, and how old's your kid? 25. Really? Is it a frickin' emergency? Put the phone down. You don't need to talk to your kid, your 25-year-old kid right now. I mean, sure, whatever's going on, he's not dying. So why don't you stay present here with me on our date, that I get to, that I've gotten a babysitter, and I've got, because it's dating as a dad is a lot. Yeah. It takes a lot of coordination. And so it's things like that I'm talking about, right?
Little signs. Yeah. But going back to your previous point of when you build up that foundation in yourself of self-respect and so forth, I think what is troubling, but this is real life, is that for a lot of men, even if you're the most confident, self-assured, you're just checking all the boxes within yourself, and you're like, here I am, world. You're still going to run into the woman who doesn't get up from her chair to say hello.
To hear the rest of this episode and access the corresponding resources, visit thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member of our community. It's free to join and will provide you with the resources you deserve as a divorced or divorcing dad. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll talk with you next week.